So I have one of the weirdest, but probably one of the most fun jobs in the world. And what I do is I teach men how to use their clothing and their appearance as a visual language and how to be as articulate with their appearance as they are with the things that they speak or the things that they write, and how to really become very fluent in that. And it's super fun because irrespective of what your age is, the relationship between masculinity and aesthetics is one that is very, very powerful. And it's one that for the last few generations has been downplayed, which means it's a really big opportunity to learn how to speak that language and become more influential, more confident, more self-aware, better in all the things that Matt's teaching you guys how to do. Your appearance can be a very powerful supplement to all of these good goals that you guys are working towards.
Guys, I can't understate enough. So gentlemen, the young men here, you guys have recommended readings, right? There's books that you are reading every month as you go through here. I will tell you, month one for our men in our men's program, Tanner's book is in there. Tanner's book is in there for our men, month one, the month that I continuously point men back to the most because it's Tanner's work and Todd Herman's work. The entire thing is the psychology of who you want to be. Who am I? Who do I want to be? And how do I express that in every way? How do I express that in my thoughts? How do I express that in my language? How do I express that in the way that I appear into the world too? It is so important, man. It is so important. So this is the meat, and I got a million questions here, and these guys will come in and ask way better questions than me. Do you see a difference fundamentally? I don't know if we've ever talked about this in this concept with men and young men. Do
Totally.
you feel okay? So, what is this like? What is the fundamental difference when we've got some teens that are here with us that are stepping into? And when I say teens, these are the maturity that's here.
Right.
These, I know 15-year-old men, and a lot of them are on the call. I know 40-year-old boys, and they're not part of our program, right? So
Right.
we've got young men here, but what's some of the fundamental differences there, man?
So from my experience, both with coaching, with my own kids, with how I was as a teen, I would say that one of the things that's a lot different for you guys that are younger, and you're in a really good place with this, is you're at a fun stage where you're figuring out and establishing what your identity is. And that's what people expect of you, is to not have things figured out, which means that you have a whole door open as far as what are the tribes you want to belong to? What are the core values that you want to embody? What are the ways that you want to represent that? And I know that things are a little bit different for you guys than it was when Matt and I were kids, where it's not like everybody gets together, but when Matt and I were kids, you had these very like specific cliques in schools.
Mhm.
And these different cliques would have very specific uniforms where even like when you get into these microcultures, like for me, I was really involved in extreme sports, like BMX is what I did, but the BMX guys would dress differently than the skaters, who would dress differently than the rollerbladers. And to anybody on the outside, it seemed like we were all the same, but we were very aware of all these little micro differences as a way to kind of represent these different groups. And there was a lot of dressing to signal to other people, but even more so to reinforce our own identity. And I know you guys still do this today because it's part of that establishing that identity of I exist as part of this tribe or as part of this group. And the way that I embody that is I dress like it so that I can reinforce that from my self perception and I can signal that out to other people. Whereas guys who get a little bit older, a lot of times what they do is they get stuck in whatever it was that they were wearing 10, 15, 20 years ago. And
Mm.
they don't have that same latitude or that same freedom to be able to experiment and explore. And they also, we generationally, you guys get a lot less flack for this than we did, but we got teased a ton. Where if you showed any overt interest in your appearance, you were
Yep.
gay, you were effeminate, you were dishonorable, you were whatever pejorative that they could throw at us. You guys have a lot more kind of like social acceptance around caring about this stuff. But a lot of the guys that are your dad's age or even kind of like older uncles or even grandparents' age still hold on to this idea that real men don't care how they look. And the only thing that's appropriate is to dress with a level of apathy. And you guys get to invest a lot more intentionality into your appearance. So I would say those are probably the two biggest differences I've
Really
seen.
good, man.